Wow, I'm getting some major nostalgia vibes with none other than Hank Halloween Murphy here on the review table. It almost feels surreal to even say that, even though he was just released in 2020 as a single, but before that, 2013, and before that, 2009. And let me tell you guys a quick story. When I was collecting back in 2009. It was very casual. I didn't have really access to the internet, believe it or not. And so whatever I found in the stores is really all I believe to have existed. And thankfully, I found most of what actually was put out. I missed the looting Sarge, but that's a story for another day. Hank Murphy, though, I was just over the moon to find him, and my mom literally got him for me on Halloween. It was perfect. Like, what a great way to kind of kick off the holiday. And then we went out trick-or-treating. Who knows what I was dressed up as? It could have been Mario. I was big into Mario back then, still am. But yeah, this guy was one of my favorites growing up, and he still is. I think he's one of the coolest and just one of the most unique releases. Very iconic as well. Like when you think of this entire grouping of the Flashback characters, Hank Halloween Murphy kind of embodies, he's kind of the mascot for all of them. Like when you think to them, I think of Edwin Cranks because he was like the first one, Greta as well. But Hank Murphy though really stands out to me, and I decided, you know what, why not do like a little special video for Halloween this year and review Hank Murphy? I was thinking about maybe re-reviewing all those Halloween customs that I got a long time ago. Of course, we have a Witch Flo, we have a Devil Lightning McQueen. Kind of weird to have Devil McQueen in his cruising paint job. It's kind of counterintuitive. We have a Clown Fillmore, but I thought maybe I'll just review those next year, you know, assuming that we're still going strong next year, and just do a little Hank Halloween Murphy video today. I haven't given him that much attention. You know, I looked at the times he's popped up on my channel, the case unboxing in 2020, in which I didn't even put him in my thumbnail, I don't think, which is kind of ridiculous. The 3-pack back in like 2015-16 with Derek Decals Dobbs. That's, you know, kind of the most exposure he's gotten on my channel. So he definitely deserves some more. And yeah, maybe this will kick off kind of like a new series on my channel where I review the older cars that have become a little bit forlorn, but not technically forlorn favorites. Like I wouldn't call him a forlorn favorite. I don't think he's as forlorn as anything I put in that series, because like I said, he is so iconic and the mascot of all these Flashback characters. But yeah, man, that was a long intro. I really kind of want to do a deep dive today on Hank Halloween Murphy. So first, there he is in Cars 1, looking great. I love how he's looking off kind of in the direction of the camera, but unfortunately, Mattel did not recreate that expression. Like even his art that we see, you know, in the books, the Cars Finder, etc., have him, you know, directly clipped out of the movie. So I really would have loved if they showed that expression and, you know, recreated it on the diecast. But that leads me to one point I wanted to make. Have you guys noticed that almost every one of these Flashback characters is looking to their left? I literally just noticed that you have Miles Meat Truck Malone. You have Derek Decals Dobbs, who is the best expression of the bunch. Some of these are really bad expressions because there's not much to work with when you have kind of the nose bridge or, you know, down the, you know, middle of the eyes right there. Milton Caliper is the worst one. Mildred Bylane's pretty nice. Of course, copy of that with Jonas Rivera there. They almost all are looking to the right. It's really weird to me. But yeah, Hank Halloween Murphy, of course, looking to the left in the movie, but not on the diecast. Kind of ironic there. Now, the original version of him that we saw at a San Diego Comic-Con, the prototype, was going to be a much deeper orange. As you can see right there, yeah, I mean, crazy to think that he would look like that. It's almost a completely different character. And I think they ultimately opted for something a little bit more accurate, but in my personal opinion, I think the most accurate would be kind of a mix of the two colors, kind of like being in the middle with that. Now, the eBay price for him is on average about $12, including shipping, and that is for any of the 3 packaged singles. Now, obviously, he is in that 3-pack. That's much rarer and going to be more expensive, but if you want to get him 2009 single, 2013 single, which are the same, both from China, or the Thailand single, 2020, they're going to, you know, range from as low as maybe $9 or $10 to $15. So he's really not that bad or expensive at all. Really, really affordable. in my opinion. Now that leads me to my next point. The Thailand version of him, I almost wanted to open one up and review for this video, but I decided that it is so similar to the Chinese version here based on these pictures I'm showing you. So I didn't think it was worth it to open up and go into storage and grab one. Even though I do have two, I could have opened one, but just didn't really feel like it. I don't think it's worth it. And now I want to talk about his Meet the Cars bio. So in the first Meet the Cars book, he actually doesn't make it into really the book itself. Kind of odd, kind of weird, but fortunately, he made it into the mini book that they include, which included a lot of these flashback characters. So let's take a look. He's right there on the cover. I mean, this really is a mini book. And it also had some, storytellers characters like the cousins and the showgirls, but those are for another day. Al Oft is one of the most random characters in this book. Percy Handbrake's another one of my favorites, but here is Hank Halloween Murphy. There's his art. Hank used to get into a lot of trouble in his younger years. He'd go drag racing and play chicken with his friends. Hank never lost a chicken race because he had a problem with depth perception. He couldn't tell that the other cars were getting closer, only that they were getting bigger. He decided it was time to stop goofing around when he lost a curb feeler in a race that was just a little too close. Yeah, good bio. I like how, I really love that they gave all these characters bios. Obviously, they still did that for a bunch of the Cars 3 characters, don't get me wrong. But, without doing it for anything, Cars on the Road related, I do, feel a little bit more detached from everybody in that show. Now, he did make it into the Cars 3 Meet the Cars book. You can see that his vehicle is a Hollismobile Rumbler. That's a completely fictional car. And yeah, they can manipulate his art very easily. Just rotate it, 180 degrees. And since he has no decals, it's, super easy and totally understandable to do that. But you can tell that he actually is kind of inaccurate in the sense that he doesn't have these 4 dots, these vents on the actual car from the movie. And the bio is the exact same for your guys' information. All right, then. Yeah, I really would love a Meet the Cars for Cars on the Road. I honestly am surprised they haven't done it. I really, really would love that. Somebody get on that, guys, like for real. All right, so now let's just get on with the actual review of good old Hank here. Again, like I said, not anything too crazy with the expression, but it's serviceable, gets the job done. Nice grill, nice hood ornament, silver headlights there, silver bumper, which is a plastic piece. I do love his wheels with the orange trim, the white line on the black wall. Like a lot going on there, a lot of different colors. Now, I really thought, honestly, like remembering the bio, I thought that they mentioned how he got the nickname Halloween. But it is pretty, self-explanatory. He just happens to be an orange and black car. Well, they're the 2 Halloween colors, orange and black, and therefore he just got, coined Halloween. And I think probably, if we're, really getting into it, probably a lot of people call him Halloween Hank. I mean, I think that's awesome. Like, that's such a cool name. He's got separate pieces for the side view mirrors, very hard plastic that are wedged in there, just like the bumper kind of. Nice silver trim around the windshield. Of course, he's got these vents up here that are inaccurate. Really not sure why they went about doing that. Almost makes me kind of second guess if that art's even correct, because it's not like Hank is a repaint of someone else. Hank is a completely unique model, believe it or not, unless I'm having a complete brain cramp. But I'm pretty sure I brought everyone out from the flashback that Mattel has done, except for the canceled one. So yeah, really not sure why they did that. No one else has it. I mean, we have seen it on other cars, but none of these flashbackers. But I do love that you have the silver line going down the middle and then, orange and black on either side. Very awesome, classic 2-tone car. And, of course, we know some of the ones from the flashback scene are like that too. Like the canceled car, for example, the blue one. And then Mildred Bylane's another good example of that. Got the door handle there. Nice, beautiful fins here. Some of the most easily chipped places on cars are these red bulbs, these taillights here. Fortunately, it looks like my Hank has weathered his, now was it 14-year span, going on 15 years without getting those chipped. But my Derek Decals Dobbs, I think from the jump, his top two headlights were chipped right there. So you could just see, you gotta be careful with that. It's very cool, very intricately modeled. Like, it's a great casting for that, but you gotta be careful. I also love his spare tire here. It is a separate plastic piece with the bumper, but it just, brings so much realism to the model. His license plate is S962. Nice 4-digiter right there. Now let's see when this guy was made. 3168 EA. So you guys know, can you guys guess? You guys know how to read these? That is the 316th day of 2008. So it looks like my mom really held this one for me, or she didn't find it for a while, because that means he was made, about like a good, month and a half, 2 months before 2008 ended, okay? And then he comes out in 2009, and I didn't get him all the way till October, the end of October of that year. So I didn't get him until a whole nother year, basically, after he came off the factory line. But yeah, really blank base is how they used to do it back in the day. Like, if you were to have his 2020 Thailand version, it would be littered with a bunch more coatings and whatnot. But yeah, just Disney, Pixar, China, and the date stamp, they don't even have to tell you who is the manufacturer. You just know it's Mattel, like it has to be. But yeah, I love this guy. One of my favorites. There's so many cars these days, so to say he's like my top 50, like he's in my top 50 all time, is kind of hard to say, and that might not even seem that good to you, but there are thousands of these, so top 50 is, like top 5%. So I think he is in my top 50. I really should do that one time, or at least do like a top 20 diecast. I mean, you guys ask me all the time my favorites on that. So yeah, that's all I have with him specifically. He's similar to Greta, who came out in the same year as him. And yeah, this is actually a very timely video in the sense that, we're getting some of these flashback characters back for 2024. If you guys saw my 2-pack Case U reveal video, you know that Greta here and Edwin Cranks are being released in a 2-pack together to start off 2024, and that case is scheduled for December 1st. So in about a month here, hopefully that rears its head. And yeah, actually it'll be funny, a lot of people don't know that Greta's last name is Bruckman. They never show it on the diecast, but it has, leaked out in many ways. Got Mildred Bylane here, who was canceled in 2010 and then uncanceled in 2013. Very nice. Did come out from Thailand in 2021. One of my favorite 2021 releases, as already kind of forlorn. No one talks about it. Derek Decals Dobbs is great as well. 2010, the 3-pack, and yeah, that's been pretty much it for him. I love his chrome bumper. I love his white walls with the turquoise trim in there. What I don't love is that the eye plate, is cracking. Like, it's kind of going to be hard to see unless we get on the right there. That's a perfect light right there. You could see that it's cracking, almost like how the zinc pass affects the Motor Speedway of the South cars, but still, it's hardly noticeable. And I really don't care that much about my loose cars. Stuff happens. Like, what the hell? It sucks, but stuff happens. I have another Derek Decals Dobbs package from 2010. I have a 3-pack package, so I'm not that worried about it. Percy Handbrake's another one that was canceled in 2010 and then made her way back, or his way back, in a 3-pack in 2015, I believe it was, 2015 or 2016. This one, I think, actually, I'm not sure. I think I might have gotten him early from China because I was worried about him getting canceled again or whatever. Milton Caliper is probably the worst of the flashback cars, just because the expression's really bad and he's super boring. But yeah, another 2009 release that came out alongside Hank Halloween Murphy. Like, he's literally affecting the exposure in my camera right here, so I'm going to get him off the screen. Time Zone Truco, Timothy Time Zone Truco, another one of the better ones. Nice shade of paint, nice expression, chrome bumper, and the double fin action. He's been released a couple times over the years. 2010, and then I think like 2016 in the Radiator Springs Classic line. Nikki B is the most recent addition in 2020 after he was also canceled in 2017. It's kind of crazy that a lot of this grouping of cars, like this category, and he also has like the bulb lights. He's probably the most similar to Hank because he's got the spare tire. I mean, him and Derek are, they all are different, which is honestly the best thing about, again, this category is that there were not many repaints. Like all three of these, similar but different. Of course, Millen Caliper and Edwin Cranks, and then you have Jonas Rivera, or Revera or whatever, and Mildred are the same, but that's pretty much it. But yeah, back to my original point, this guy was one of the more recent additions as well from the Toys R Us Radiator Springs Classic line. But yeah, a good chunk of these characters were canceled. You think about the most canceled grouping of characters. You think about Piston Cup teams. You think about some of the Cars 2 stuff, like World Grand Prix McQueen, or Miguel, Shoot to the Roki with Flames, that stuff, and a bunch of the cameramen. But you think back to these guys, and here's another fun fact for you. So Milton Caliper was canceled as well from the Radiator Springs Classic line, in which he would have been a unibody without that ugly line right there. So he got one cancellation. Percy Handbrakes got one. Mildred got one. Nikki B got one. And Miles Meatruck Malone got one. Also canceled out of the Radiator Springs Classic Deluxe line. There are a bunch of prototypes. I wouldn't even say a bunch, but relative to, as far as canceled cars go, there are quite a few of him floating about. I have a few. I'll probably do a video on it someday if you would like to see that. I believe I've shown it, though, in videos in the past. And then, of course, Dustin Mellows, who dates back to, the same era as Hank Halloween Murphy. Carries a little bit more nostalgia with me than Miles does, even though they were only released about like a year and a half apart. That's all I have for you guys. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Obviously, it's one of those nights where you kind of go nuts and like all rules are off the table. Like everything's everything's fair game. But be safe, and also where I'm at is going to be absolutely horrible weather. It's really a shame because tonight's a perfect night. Like the moon is out and shining. It's like a waning gibbous or whatever, and it would have been a perfect like eerie night. Good weather for it. Tomorrow, though, like snow and slush and all that crap. So it really is a shame. But yeah, hopefully for you it's not that bad. And just enjoy it. Go easy on the candy. Savor it. Spread it out. Have some, in January, when you got nothing going on. You got some candy left. Your older self will thank you. All right, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye now.